sorry, I'm turning the recording on. We'll all be going over the information. And then we just ask that you save your questions till the end, or if the question comes up where you immediately need clarity on it, to go ahead and put that question in the chat. And at the end, we will make time to go over any questions that are out there. Our agenda for the meeting is let you know who we are, what we believe, introduce some of the core team members, talk about what is ayahuasca, who ayahuasca is not safe for, possible side effects, overview of our retreats, talk a little bit how to prepare, the code of conduct that we have from our staff and volunteers, as well as what we expect from participants, integration, the different locations and accommodations of those locations, how to register for retreats, and then answer any questions that the group may have. So who we are a multi-faith spiritual community of individuals who take ayahuasca as a religious sacrament. We come from all walks of life and have varying backgrounds, professions, and beliefs. Aside from our taita, none of us work for the church full time. We run as a nonprofit religious organization. We are not a wellness center or a medical facility. We are a spiritual community. All of us that are in the church, we have experienced the spiritual healing of ayahuasca. Most of the team has been working with ayahuasca for multiple years. However, we do have volunteers that have more recently started partaking in ayahuasca. We respect all faiths and all spiritual paths that do not harm or exploit others. Our belief is that ayahuasca is a sentient being with consciousness. This is not a drug. This is not a psychedelic. Ayahuasca is a tool that can help heal ourselves and forgive ourselves and others. Ayahuasca can help us become happier and healthier versions of ourselves. Ayahuasca is helping the Americas heal from hundreds of years of genocide, slavery, colonization, war, greed, and violence. Each person has their own truth and their own path to follow. We encourage each person to discover their own truth. Every person deserves healing and forgiveness, no matter what they have done. We do not follow any single religious text. We respect all spiritual paths and teachings that do not preach hate and do not harm others. We look to the Ayahuasca Manifesto and the teachings of the Cometa for guidance. Ayahuasca is not a solution. It is only a tool. The person that conducts our ceremonies is Taita Pedro Davila. He's an indigenous medicine man. Taita Pedro Davila is a traditional indigenous medicine man, also known as a curandero. He's of the Cometa lineage from the Colombian Amazon of Putumayo. At age 17, Pedro was chosen by his grandfather, who was also a Taita, to begin training to serve ayahuasca, which is known as Yahe to Taita's lineage. Pedro endured 7 years of training in the Amazon jungle in order to serve ayahuasca. Taita Pedro has been serving ayahuasca for over 20 years and has conducted ceremonies all over Europe, Central and South America, and across the United States. All of our ayahuasca ceremonies will be indigenous-led by a highly trained medicine man. And all of the retreats that we will go over today are all being led by Taita Pedro. The next person is me. I'm Courtney Close. I am the co-founder, event organizer, and current administrator for the church. I organize all of the Southern California events. I continue to work and have worked in business operations for the last 20 years, focusing on international vendor management. Taita and I started working together and putting ceremonies together for about 5 years now. The last 2 years plus have been as Hummingbird Church and open to the public. I am passionate about bringing ayahuasca to those who can benefit from it most. So in Southern California, I'll organize, you'll see me. And I'm the one that will be answering your emails and looking at intake forms and doing payment. Brian Cantalupi. Brian is also a co-founder. He's an event organizer and he's an integration coach. Brian is a co-founder of the church, Taita Pedro ceremony assistant, the weekly and retreat group integration leader, and the Utah event organizer. Brian has an education and background in engineering. He was a wrestler for Penn State and a professional MMA fighter. Brian has been working with ayahuasca and Taita Pedro for the past 5 years and has sat in hundreds of ayahuasca ceremonies. In addition to working with ayahuasca, Brian is also a Kambo and craniosacral practitioner, integration coach, and well-versed in human design. So Brian will be your organizer for Utah, and he will be present at the SoCal retreats and leading the integration circles there. He also does a weekly call on Wednesdays that's open to anyone to touch base, see how you're doing, and hold space for each other. The other member is Michael Vascones. He's our lead integration coach and event organizer. Michael Vascones is the lead integration coach for all of Taita Pedro's ceremonies. So not just the ones in Southern California and Utah, but any ceremony that Taita Pedro does. And he is the Pennsylvania event organizer. Michael leads all post-retreat group integration calls and offers one-on-one integration and health coaching. Michael is a Marine combat veteran who now specializes in deep transformative work. Michael's a certified lifestyle medicine coach from the Hippocrates Health Institute, a senior accredited coach, and a certified life coach with Noble Manhattan Coaching. Michael sat with Taita Pedro. He sat in Taita Pedro's first ceremony in the US, and because of its profound impact on his life, he has been participating and organizing ayahuasca ceremonies with Taita Pedro for over 6 years.
Okay, I think, is this one me?
This is you, Brian.
Me. Well, thanks, Courtney. Okay, so what is ayahuasca? Ayahuasca is an herbal combination of 2 herbs. Oh man, I'm not even going to butcher it, but it's the ayahuasca vine and the chacruna leaf, which is the DMT. So the ayahuasca creates the MAOI. It's brewed with water and ingested by the ceremony participants. Ayahuasca is brewed by Taita Pedro. He makes all the ayahuasca himself, and the plants are sourced ethically from the Amazon. It's generally considered to be a safe herbal combination to ingest under guidance by an experienced ayahuasquero. Ayahuasquero is another word for someone who administers ayahuasca. There's been historically very few reported incidents of illness or toxicity related to ayahuasca. However, all psychoactive herbal medicines include some degree of risk, and we'll get into that. Ayahuasca contains a mixture of tryptamine and has a psychoactive properties. It's common for participants to experience altered visions, tactile, auditory sensations, euphoria, and emotional release, sudden shifts in mood, return of memory, significant personal introspection. While often positive, these may at times become frightening or unpleasant. If you become overwhelmed by any of these experiences, please let one of our team know. Some constituents of Banisteriopsis capi can act as monoamine oxidase inhibitors. MAOIs have been dangerous interactions with several medications. As you can see, I am not a trained doctor, so I don't learn exactly how to enunciate every word of the scientific name. Next up is side effects. So some of the side effects that you could experience, and you could view this from the lens that this is a side effect or this is actually part of the healing process in and of itself. What you may experience: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea during and after ceremony. And when I say after ceremony, I mean the few hours after ceremony. I don't mean ongoing. Bloating, indigestion, and abdominal pain during and after the ceremony. Headaches during and after, feeling dizzy and or lightheaded, dehydration, feeling like your body temperature is fluctuating and or extreme hot or cold feelings, feeling like your heart is racing or having high blood pressure, negative drug interactions if medication that has adverse side effects, like with MAOIs, are not out of your system. So you want to make sure that you don't go on any MAOIs after ayahuasca and obviously before. audio and visual hallucinations, feeling like you are in a dream or altered state, and questioning your belief systems. So the medicine will possibly change the way you see the world, and hopefully. Next question, or next slide. Okay, who is this not safe for? Anyone who cannot safely stop using medication that has negative interactions with MAOIs. These must be fully out of your system before ingesting ayahuasca. Anyone who's undergoing ketamine or MDMA assisted therapy, you need to have not be using these at least 15 days before the retreat and for at least 15 days after. That is the bare minimum. We suggest 30 to 60, 90 days, but 15 is the bare minimum that we say is that you should adhere to. If you plan on taking psychedelics within those 15 days, stop. Do not plan anything 15 days before, 15 days after any other substances like 5-MeO-DMT or Bufo. Those should not be used 90 days after the retreat day. So when the ayahuasca is working on you over the period of weeks after you take ayahuasca, so you don't want to interfere with that process. We've known many people who've taken 5-MeO-DMT, commonly referred to as Bufo, and that can send you into all kinds of different places that very much ungrounds you. Anyone with the following mental disorders are prohibited from sitting with us. So if you have multiple personality disorder, also known as DID, schizophrenia, personality disorders, bipolar disorder, if you have seizures, if you're actively bulimic, if you experience a stroke or embolism, severe asthma, which results in hospitalization, any known cardiac illness, uncontrolled high blood pressure, active Crohn's disease, active irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerated colitis, intestinal ulcers, or had any bariatric surgery in the last 3 months, anyone in their first trimester of pregnancy. Okay, who should not attend with us? Anyone looking for a luxury retreat. So you will see our retreat pictures of our retreat centers here. They are not the 5-star high-end luxury retreat. This isn't a place to get pampered. This is a place to do healing work. Our venues are often held at either someone's home. Very often it's someone's home or someone's second home that they own. Anyone looking for a psychedelic experience, this isn't a place to just trip out. Anyone looking for a magic solution to their problems, you are going to be shown your problems and you are going to be expected to fix them. Taita does not fix them, the facilitators do not fix them, and the medicine will not fix you. It is going to show you what needs to be fixed. Anyone who's actively serving ayahuasca or has a desire to serve ayahuasca, we are not creating shamans here. This isn't a shaman school. We're not looking to apprentice anyone. Taita is the shaman. We facilitate and assist him. So we're not in the business of trying to teach someone shamanism. Anyone looking for a ceremony with sacred silence and serenity, our participants make noise. We work in the chaos. So although there will be silence at points, there will be screaming or yelling or crying or laughing. And there may be some chaos. There may be people going through deep processes. And if you want this beautiful, calm ceremony, this is not that place. Oftentimes it can be chaotic. And that's a good thing because it brings up things for you to work on. Anyone who has claustrophobia or does not like being in large groups, our groups are large. There's not much space between participants. And when I say large, it's somewhere typically in the 30 to 40 range. It's not 5 or 10 people, and it's not widespread out. Anyone looking for one-on-one attention during the duration of the ayahuasca ceremony, we have about a 1-to-2 ratio, 1 staff for every 2 participants. Sometimes it's 1 to 3. So you will not be having someone sitting side by side with you the whole entire time. Again, I said it earlier, but anyone looking for us to heal you, you heal you. We create a safe environment and keep you safe. Anyone who believes they have reached spiritual enlightenment, sometimes that's an indication that you're just very deeply in your ego. So this is something about being open to the idea that there's more to learn, more to see. If you're coming here because you have it all figured out, congratulations, you probably don't need us. Anyone who's not committed to becoming a better, happier, healthier version of themselves, You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So if you're coming here not really intent on healing, please don't come. Anyone who is ultra spiritual or classifies things as only good or evil, our belief is that if you're classifying as everything is good or evil, that's basically being bipolar. And if you're ultra spiritual, you're living in a world that is, half the picture, and that sometimes can set you up for a major crisis if you're just living in the clouds. We're a very grounded group of people, and we like to invite grounded individuals to sit with us. If you're uncomfortable being around people who may be going through drug and or alcohol withdrawal, ayahuasca can and does induce withdrawal symptoms. It's like going through maybe perhaps a week's worth of withdrawal, sometimes within an hour or two. And that can be very, very intense. So you are sitting in retreat. Some of you may be struggling with addictions, and some of you may have just perhaps behavioral addictions. Those going through drug withdrawal, it can be a difficult experience. And you need to be prepared for someone that's going through that. Anyone who is concerned about COVID exposure, we don't take COVID precautions. We obviously wash everything, wash the sheets, we wash our utensils, etc. We're not making you share things like that, but we also aren't using masks. We're not sanitizing between every single use, etc. So it is I'd say a pre-COVID environment. Anyone who has already established beliefs on how an ayahuasca ceremony should be conducted. It will be different. If you've never sat with Taita before, be totally open to where the ceremony will go. Who should attend? Okay, those seeking to become happier and healthier versions of themselves, those seeking healing through spiritual practices or with an open mind to healing through spiritual practices, those willing to do the hard work that our retreats require, those who are fully committed to attending the retreat, those who do not have set expectations as to what they're going to receive from the retreat, people comfortable in group settings, people who have been deemed medically safe to attend an ayahuasca ceremony, and people who have not had success with Western traditional healing practices. This is a different practice. This is coming from the Amazon. So if you expect it to be traditional Western psychology or Western practices, this will not be that. It'll be a combination. It's not like we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We do the best that we know from both worlds, but you are going through an indigenous process. This is not a Western process. Okay. Overview of our retreats. Okay, so it's typically about 30 to 40 participants and 15 to 20 staff. It varies on size depending on the location. All ceremonies are led by Taita Pedro Davila. Ceremonies take place indoors and outdoors in large event, tent, barn, and multi-purpose room. We'll show you some slides here on what this looks like. It's not luxury, and that there's a few reasons for that. One is we want it to feel natural. We don't want it to give off this idea that luxury is the place that you need to be to heal. And we also want to keep things affordable. We only play live music in ceremony, which, by the way, is amazing. Our retreats are a mix of paying participants and full and partial scholarships. So we give anywhere from 10 to 20% of the proceeds back to scholarships because we truly want to help people heal, not just people that have the money, but also people who don't have the means. There will be food, activities, ceremony bedding, post-ceremony group integration. It's all part of the price. Activities vary for each retreat. Examples could be not limited to, and not always exactly this, but we have these available: breath work, sound baths, art therapy, games, altar building, cold plunge, oxygen bar, herbal baths, animal sanctuaries, yoga, and meditations. People love this stuff that we do between the ceremonies. Each meal is vegetarian with vegan options. Sometimes there's fish, but if we do serve fish, it's the last meal of the retreat. Only additional costs are individual healing sessions. So, for example, gua sha, which is a very intense form of massage that works on your fascia system. We have normal massage, what you would call normal, and energy work, and you can sign up for these sessions at the retreat. And I want to make sure I'm not stealing my mic. Am I going all the way through this one?
Yep, this is your last one.
Okay. What our ceremonies are like. We ask for your phone and car keys before each ceremony. They are returned after the ceremony. And so that's each day you will get your phone back. I personally suggest that you put your phone away the entire weekend, if at all possible. But at the bare minimum, you will get your phone back typically the next morning after the medicine has worn off. Courtney's favorite line is, it's like calling your ex at 3 a.m. if you're drunk. You don't want to do it. Participants go to the altar in 4 groups: those who have never drank ayahuasca before, those who have drank but not with taita, and those who have drank with taita, and facilitators. You go to the altar, you look taita in the eyes. He then will pray over your cup. You drink the cup in front of him, and you will put the cup in the bin that's by the altar. If you're on your menstrual cycle, you let taita know that. He will also do a blessing on tobacco, and that tobacco is placed between your underwear directly on your skin. And that will help keep you safe and through your cycle. The first 1 to 2 hours are typically quiet. There's no music being played, and it allows everyone just to sit with the medicine as it activates. And basically you go into a meditative state and start to understand what's going on in your inner world. You're likely to feel the effects in 45 minutes to 2 hours. Sometimes it's much sooner if you've had bariatric weight loss surgery. Some people just naturally digest the ayahuasca quicker, and you may feel it quicker, but it's typical 45 minutes to an hour and a half, you'll start to feel the medicine. Sometimes you will not feel the medicine at all. That's why we do suggest a second cup. But sometimes, depending on your situation, it could be the first night, the second night, sometimes until the third day before you start to notice something with the medicine. And that's perfectly normal. You're likely to hear participants vomiting, crying, moaning, some screaming, humming, and releasing processing through the way that they process. Typically around the 2nd hour mark, taita will call up everyone for a second cup. Second is a standard dosage. If you can hear the second cup, meaning you're there laying and you hear second cup, please try to get up and get to the altar and take the second cup. I highly suggest it. It is part of the process. It allows you to go deeper and heal much quicker. Around the time of the second cup, our musicians will begin to play. The night will be a combination of music accompanied by periods of silence. Taita also sings songs, what you would call an icaro, and that is also something that he'll be doing during the ceremonies. They typically last about 6 hours, and that's with both servings of ayahuasca. Now on to Mike.
Thanks, Brian. Greetings, everyone. So this slide is preparation. Talk to your prescribing physician to determine how to wean off any prescription drugs that have negative interactions with the MAOIs. These drugs must be out of your system to safely ingest ayahuasca. We are not medical professionals, so that is very important that if you do decide to take that action, that you go to a person that is trained to help you do that. Stop smoking marijuana, the sooner, the better. Stay off drugs and alcohol for at least 7 days prior to the retreat. Start date, the sooner you stop, the better. Please talk to us if you are unable to stay sober. We understand and just want to ensure you are safe. The most important thing is that you show up the best you can in who you are. So engage in activities such as meditation, journaling, yoga, breathwork, sensory deprivation, float tanks, sauna, spending time outdoors, and anything that helps you be present and calm. I personally owned a flotation tank business for a few years. I don't think that it is an amazing preparation tool and also integration tool for after experiences like this. Get lots of sleep and rest leading up to the retreat, so important. If possible, arrange your schedule so that you can rest and not engage in high stress activities for at least 2 days following the retreat. 7 days before the retreat, start eating a meat-free diet and lots of fruits and veggies. Eliminate soda and energy drinks during this period as well. Stay well hydrated, drink plenty of water. The biggest thing is the processed foods. So when it says eliminate soda and energy drinks, throw processed foods in there too. Eat light the first day of the retreat, eat soups and salads, stop eating by 3 p.m. You really want to feel hungry, very hungry going into ceremony. That's a really good feeling to have. Dress comfortably, but modestly, no revealing clothing. You do not need to wear white or wear any certain types of clothing. Just be comfortable. Just be comfortable. Code of conduct for staff and volunteers. We will not touch you during the ayahuasca ceremony unless needed to physically assist you. Men assist men, women assist women. If a man is needed to assist a female participant, a female staff member will be present the entire time. We will not tell you what to think or what is the truth. We each have our own truth. None of us have magic powers. We are there to help you find your truth. We will not take credit for your healing. You heal you. Staff does not date participants. If a potential romantic connection is made, we ask that you wait at least 90 days before hanging out with each other. What is true now will be true in 90 days from then. The love we show during the weekend is strictly platonic. Family. Code of conduct for participants. No touching or conversational talking during the ayahuasca ceremonies. During the retreat, please do not hit on any of the staff members or any of the participants. Anyone who engages in sexual activity during the weekend will be asked to leave. Remain coachable. Anything we advise you to do is for your well-being and safety of yourself and others. We may ask you to go outside of the ceremony room during ceremony, or we may ask that you change your position on your mat. Be respectful of other participants in ceremony. Be mindful that you are in a group ceremony. No drug or alcohol use during the ceremony. No bringing animals or non-participants. Keep all participant shares confidential. Please do not go on social media and share or create content about other people's stories without their permission. You must surrender your phone and car keys during ceremony. You will receive them back after each ceremony. Integration. We ask that you commit to attending the mandatory post-integration Zoom meeting with me, Michael Vasquez. Each retreat has their own group Zoom integration meeting with Michael, which is me, 2 to 3 days after the retreat has ended. So everyone, if you drink, wherever you drink ayahuasca, whether it's in Pennsylvania or different places, there will always be a specific integration group call just for the people that you drank the medicine with. Very specific to that process. Integration is the process of taking the experiences in ceremony and turning those experiences into real-life positive change. In-person group integration sessions will take place during the retreat weekend. Brian leads circles. There's another facilitator that will lead circles, and that is to help the process and for you to move through your process during the ceremony. So you are very well taken care of with the support with Brian at the ceremonies, and then also there's calls for you afterwards. There are also weekly standing community check-in calls with Brian at 7 p.m. PST. If one-on-one additional integration is needed, we have resources who offer these programs. It is outside of the church offering, and there will be additional charge. All right, so this is your Cherry Valley spot. This is a camping retreat. You may tent camp, car camp, bring an RV, no hookups though. You may also sleep on your mat in the ceremony room. If you are not car camping, we ask that you park on the street. We are in an urban area and need to be mindful of the noise at night. Portable toilets, hot showers are available. Ceremony takes place in a former barn. Men and women are not separated in the ceremony room. 3 ceremonies, each retreat at this location, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday day. We complete the retreats by 9 p.m. Sunday evening. If you need to stay the night on Sunday, you can. We just ask that all tents be taken down the night before ceremony begins. The closest airport are Ontario and Palm Springs, 45 minutes away from location. Los Angeles is about an hour and a half away. Las Vegas is 4 hours plus. Angelus Oaks, Southern California. The location is a kids' summer camp in the mountains of the San Bernardino National Forest. Participants will be placed into shared cabins with bunk beds. You will need to bring your own bedding or sleeping bag for the cabins. Cabins are separated by men and women. You can bring an RV to sleep, however, there are no RV hookups. Men and women are placed on separate sides of the ceremony room. We are in an isolated location surrounded by nature. There are many hiking trails at this location. There may be other retreats taking place while we are at this location. There are flushing toilets and hot showers. You can only smoke and vape in designated areas. Cars must be backed in when parking. It can and does snow in the wintertime. However, rarely are chains required. The ceremony takes place in a multi-purpose room built in the 1920s. It can get drafty in the winter. We conduct 2 ceremonies each retreat at this location, Friday night and Saturday night. We complete the retreats by 12 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Once again, the airports, Ontario and Palm Springs, about an hour away. Los Angeles, about 2 hours away. And Las Vegas is 4 hours away. Temecula, Southern California. This is a camping retreat also. You may bring a tent, car camp, or bring an RV with no hookups. You may also sleep on your mat in the ceremony space. There is also a game room that you can sleep in. Ceremonies will be outdoors. Men and women are placed on separate sides of the ceremony. We are in an urban area and need to be mindful of the noise. Portable toilets, flushing toilets, and hot showers. There is a pool and jacuzzi on site. We conduct 3 ceremonies at this location, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday day. We complete the retreats by 9 p.m. Sunday evening. You may stay on the property until 10 a.m. on Monday. Once again, the airports, Ontario and Palm Springs, about an hour away. Los Angeles, 2 hours plus, and Las Vegas, 4 hours plus. McQueen Valley, Lucerne. I'm not quite sure.
Lucerne.
Lucerne.
Oh man, as you can tell, I'm not from that area. This is the most rustic retreat out of all the retreats that I've mentioned so far. But this one has a really, really cool thing that Courtney added in here. So there is this is a camping retreat. You may tent camp, car camp, or bring an RV with no hookups. You may also sleep on your mat in the ceremony tent. It's one of those big white ceremony tents. Typically circuses use them, or like big gatherings with a big pole in the middle. That's the type of tent that we're talking about. This is the most rustic of the locations. We are in an urban area and need to be mindful of the noise at night. We will visit a wolf sanctuary as part of the retreat weekend. I found that to be super cool. It's a very unique thing. Portable toilets, hot showers will be available. The ceremony takes place in a large event tent. Men and women are separated in the ceremony tent. We conduct 3 ceremonies each retreat at this location, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday day. We complete the retreat by 9 p.m. Sunday evening. You may stay at the property until 10 a.m. Monday. Once again, the airports, Ontario and Palm Springs, an hour plus. Los Angeles, 2 hours plus. And Las Vegas is 3 hours plus. St. George, Utah. This place is awesome. This location takes place in a 10,000 square foot mansion on the former FLDS camp compound. This is the most comfortable of the locations. Participants may sleep in the common area of the house in the ceremony tent, or may upgrade to a twin or queen bed for an additional cost of $50 a twin and $100 for a queen. If electing to upgrade, men and women will be in separate rooms. Will be separated in the shared rooms. There is a cemetery for children next door to the location. Paranormal activity has been experienced. The location is close to national parks and many hiking trails. Ceremony takes place in a large event tent. We conduct 3 ceremonies each retreat at this location, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday day. We complete the retreats by 9 p.m. Sunday evening. You may stay at the property until 10 a.m. on Monday. The closest airport is St. George, 45 minutes from location. Las Vegas is 2.5 hours from the location. Here's the schedule. You want to take a look? There's one February 17th weekend, March 3rd weekend, March 24th weekend, April 7th weekend, April 28th, May 26th, June 23rd, July 7th, August 11th, August 25th, October 20th, October 27th is our veterans and first responders only. Those ceremonies are dedicated to those two groups of people, November 17th and December 8th. All right, everyone, here's your directions. If you ever decide to come and register, you're going to go to hummingbirdchurch.com. You're going to see an intake form to fill out. That'll get sent to Courtney. If accepted, you'll get received for an acceptance email within 4 days of completing intake form and emailed a $250 non-refundable deposit invoice. Pay the non-refundable deposit invoice of $250 within 7 days of receiving it. This will reserve your place at the retreat. Your deposit holds your spot. Attend the live pre-retreat Zoom call or watch the recording 2 weeks prior to the retreat. Pay balance in full 2 weeks prior to the retreat start date. We will not refund your deposit if you cannot attend or request to be moved to a different retreat. Your deposit will be surrendered in both scenarios.
All right. So that completes the basic information that we had for the retreat. Thank you, Brian and Michael, for doing your slides. And now we want to open it up to anybody that has any questions. So you can go ahead and ask. You can put them in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I have been doing a lot of listening to podcasts and just going down the rabbit hole. And I've heard a few times that you shouldn't do it with anyone you know, like you shouldn't go with a friend, you should go alone. How do you guys feel about that? What's your thought process? I'm not sure how I feel about it.
So, I mean, that's just a preference. If you know that if you're going to go with, say, a romantic partner or a child or a family member, and if you're already in a place with them where you're overly concerned with what they're doing and you feel like you could be distracted from going into your own process because you're worried about them or you want to see how they're doing, then I would recommend not going with that person. But if you have somebody that you have a relationship with where you're not hesitant to be vulnerable in front of them, you're open sharing in front of them, you're comfortable going there, you don't feel like you need to be responsible for them during the retreat, then that's a good person to go with.
Okay.
Yeah, so you really want to look at your relationship with the person and see, am I going to try to shepherd them the whole weekend? Are they going to try to shepherd me? Are there things about myself that I may want to talk about that I'm not comfortable sharing in front of that person? And are they somebody that I may have a toxic dynamic with that will stress me out during the retreat weekend and I won't be able to do my work?
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
There were a couple of questions that came up in the chat about ayahuasca showing up on a standard drug screening. Ayahuasca does not. The only thing that is considered a drug in ayahuasca is DMT, and DMT is fully metabolized out of your system within 24 hours, and that would have to be detectable by a very specific blood test. Within 4 hours, it's not detectable under any standard blood test. Can you drive at the end of a retreat, or should you wait a couple of hours? None of our retreats are we gonna just in the retreat or in the last ceremony, and then you have to go in your car and go. We will eat after our last ceremony. You'll have time to rest. You can stay the night if need be, or you can leave if you want to. It's really for each person, but for most ayahuasca experiences, when you're out of it, you're out of it. You're not going to be half in, half out. So you'll know if you need to drive or if you can drive.
All right. Hey, Courtney, I just wanted to comment on the DMT question about the drug. There's kind of a misconception out there about DMT. DMT is in every living thing on the planet. So it has been perceived and construed as a drug because if you have seen it or if you've been in these circles before, people talking about it, there is a DMT that you can actually extract and then smoke it. And in that form, it is a drug. But this DMT and ayahuasca, it is two plants that are mixed together. There is no extracting like what you see in a drug form and mixed in or anything. These are just two plants from the Amazon that are mixed together in a special sacred way. So I just wanted to clarify that because I've come across some people that think that the DMT has some, like the actual DMT powder that you've seen or even some of the synthetic things have anything to do with any of this. And I just, in case that was there, I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. The next question in the chat is, why do we need to be hungry when arriving to the ceremony? And that's because you want to be able to connect with the medicine. It's going in through your digestive system. If you have a bunch of food in your stomach, you're going to waste a lot of the medicine. And you're going to be throwing, there's a good chance you'll be vomiting. And you don't want to be vomiting a full meal. That could be very dangerous. So you need to come on an empty stomach. For your own safety, for the benefit of your process. And the room smells a lot different when everyone's throwing up burritos versus just some water. So it's also a courtesy. But mainly it's for your own safety.
So much easier on the body when you come hungry.
And the hunger goes away within 1 minute of drinking the medicine.
And it's right after each ceremony, we have food. So we have soup, we have fruit, we have stuff that you can eat, or we have a full meal depending on when the ceremony is. So you don't have to be hungry. And it is something that you do forget about when your process starts.
And when your hunger comes back after ceremony is also a good indication that the medicine has worn off.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is eat when you're on when you're feeling the effects of ayahuasca. A question on here about the taste. The ayahuasca, Michael, Brian, I think it tastes a lot better than it used to.
Yeah.
A lot better.
It's a bit bitter. Again, you're drinking maybe 2 tablespoons. You're not getting a big cup of ayahuasca. It's a very small amount of liquid, and you're going to do it in one shot. The taste is bitter. It can taste kind of like burnt coffee grounds and vinegar. And you can just shoot it to the back of your throat and have a little bit of water and you'll be fine. But it's not the chunky paste. This is ayahuasca that Artaita is making here. So it's very liquidy and just a bit bitter. Let me see if there's any more.
Yeah, there was a question on trying to get contacted by outsiders to your phone during an emergency. So I'm assuming that's if your family's having an emergency. You will not have your phone and no one will be able to contact you while you're in ceremony. After ceremony, you can check your phone. That's it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do for anybody if your family's having an emergency and you're on ayahuasca. Like all you're going to do is have a horrible process if you get that text and you're under the influence of ayahuasca. We absolutely would not let you leave. It would be irresponsible for us to let you leave. You can't leave your phone in the car. You have to give us your phone and we will give it to you back. We give everyone back their phone. But you'll get it after. You're not taking it the whole course of the weekend. After each ceremony, you have your phone. So when you are good and in a spot where you can talk to people, you can have your phone back. But we can't make any exceptions and there's nothing you can do if there is an emergency with someone and you've drank ayahuasca.
There's a question here on how will you be supported if you're having a scary experience. I could probably take that one as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we will keep you safe. We will not be talking to you. If we're talking to you, it's going to be typically 1-word answers. We actually want you to feel the fear that's inside of you. The only literally way to heal fear is to look at it and feel it in experience. We will give you tactics beforehand or afterhand, including breath work, including thinking about how you're breathing through ceremony. We're giving pointers all along, but once ceremony hits, it's like you're in the game. So we're not going to stop you and coach you through the middle of a game. You're going to play the game, and then afterwards we'll talk about what happened. Okay, so you will be kept safe to feel your feelings, but your hand won't be held. We won't be giving you affirmations one way or the other. And that's in many ways the whole point of what you're going through, is because we believe so strongly that you can help heal yourself and that you are strong enough to face your fear, that all we will be doing is keeping a safe environment for you. So you won't fall, trip, etc. There won't be any, if the environment will be kept physically safe for you. We'll keep participants apart from you. We'll be watching you, make sure no one touches you or anything. You're completely safe to just be there on your mat with just yourself.
Yeah. Another question: is there a medical professional on site? So there are people that are in varying degrees of medical professionals. We'll have people that are doctors, that are paramedics, that are nurses. We do not point out to you, hey, this is so and so, and they're the paramedic, because during ceremony, if you think you're going through it, everybody starts asking for that one person. But we do have medical professionals there. Our staff is also first aid certified, CPR certified, and knows how to react should there be a medical emergency. But again, we're not a hospital. If there was a situation where somebody actually needed to go to the hospital, we would call 911. Because we are not a medical facility. We are a spiritual community. But we do have people there to help keep you safe. And most of the time when something happens and somebody needs medical attention, it's because they've tripped and fall. And most of the time that doesn't even happen when they're on the medicine. Is it too late to register for the February 17th retreat? I had 2 people move today. I think I might have a spot. If you go ahead and fill out the intake form online and indicate you would like to attend the February 17th, I can let you know. We are not just taking deposits. You would have to pay in full to register for that retreat.
There was a question on the integration piece. So Michael, can anyone join the weekly integration, or does it have to be someone that has sat with the medicine with Taita?
Yeah, those integration sessions are only for people that have, the sessions with me are only for people that have been in that group. And really Brian's sessions too, I mean, not to speak for Brian, but these integration sessions are very specifically for people that have sat with Taita's process and that have been through the church.
Mm-hmm. If someone wants private one-on-one coaching, life coaching, and they're not into psychedelics, Michael and I also do life coaching outside of ayahuasca. But
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Separate.
And also
to what we do
preparing
here.
people. If anybody feels like they need some extra assistance preparing for the ceremony, they also offer that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question on here about being on antidepressants. You cannot be on antidepressants and come to ceremony. You have got to be off of them. Regardless if it's an SSRI or not, you've got to be off of the antidepressants. That is like you have got to make a commitment to get off of the antidepressants before coming. The medication or the ayahuasca will not help you get off that medication. And if you take that medication and ayahuasca, you're not going to have the experience that you need. If it's not safe for you to get off antidepressants, then it's not safe for you to attend the ayahuasca retreat. That you've committed to a treatment plan with your doctor and you're taking that medication. So unless you're willing and able to get off that medication, don't throw ayahuasca into what your doctor is trying to do for you. SSRIs can have a very dangerous interaction with the MAOIs that are in the ayahuasca vine, and that is not the DMT. That is the non-DMT part of it. There's some really horrific things that can happen to you when you have SSRIs in your body or any other medication that has adverse reactions with an MAOI. If you're on a medication and you don't know what an MAOI is, or you're not sure if your medication has interactions, please talk to your attending physician and let them know that you're considering taking something. You don't have to tell them it's ayahuasca, just whatever you feel comfortable talking to them about, and letting them know that you're planning on ingesting something with MAOIs in it. If you go to our website, there's also a guide about how to talk to your medical professional about it. That can kind of help tee up that conversation with your attending physician. But you absolutely don't want to throw two treatment plans together for yourself. You want to, if you're making a commitment to do something with your doctor, you need to follow that through or get off of it.
There's a question here on what you will see visions wise while on ayahuasca, or things you could experience, what things to experience. I call them channels of perceptions. So we all have perceptions in our life, and it's just the same under ayahuasca. If you close your eyes and imagine something like as if you're dreaming, you can do that. On psychedelics or ayahuasca, it can be 100 times as strong as that. So you have your visuals that you can see with your imagination. You will have memories that you can recall, but you might, again, recall them with way more accuracy. You can feel sensations in your body just like you do normally, but it may be different. It may be more intense, hot, cold, shaking, etc. Your thoughts can be faster. They can be more, come at you with rapid speed. They may slow down. You may not see anything at all. You may not feel anything at all. You could have any type of experience, really. But we believe that the medicine is going to show you or give you what it is that you need, even if it's difficult, scary, even if it's blissful, exciting, whatever. That's what the medicine is trying to show you, is something about you. Hopefully that helps.
There's a question on here about vegetarian food, what kind of food we serve. We typically serve a lot of Asian food. A lot of our kitchen crew is from Vietnam. So they'll make vegetarian Vietnamese food. We also do things like tofu scrambles. We'll serve different kinds of yogurt, dairy, non-dairy yogurt. Just a lot of different meal types. We're not doing like strict Peruvian dieta food that's just whole food plant-based. But typically Asian, a lot of soups, and a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables.
I just kind of wanted to piggyback off of kind of the question about the medications, and then what kind of Brian was saying is ayahuasca really will help you go into a place to see who you are without all of these things. So it's also really important. Courtney was talking about these things not mixing. It's also, they won't mix well after for a while either, because the process that ayahuasca starts within you. It's your ceremony is not over when you leave Hummingbird. Your ceremony is just beginning. So ayahuasca will continue to work in your life, and that is what the integration piece really is. It's allowing in what ayahuasca really wants to do for you, and we allow it in by all these other things that have been getting in the way, that we live our life without them. So these medications can really, really throw you for a loop afterwards. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you guys said about
that. There's a question on here about scholarships. So there is a link on the website, and it says scholarships, and you fill out that form. As of right now, all of our scholarships have been awarded through April. So the next round of scholarships we would do would be for May going forward. They do get claimed very quickly. So if you are interested in applying for a scholarship, I definitely recommend doing it now. Because again, everything through April is claimed, and that's everything through what we have opened up right now for registration. There's something on here I think we can all add something too. One of the questions is, what would you tell someone who wants to do this retreat but is scared of what they are going to see during the ceremonies? I would ask that person, why did they want to do this in the first place? If there's things that you're scared to remember, or things about yourself that you don't want to look at, that's how you heal. So if you're committed to healing, if you want a change in your life, if you want to get over those things that are scaring you, that live inside you, then this is a great way to do that. But you're gonna face them, whether you think you're ready or not. If you're coming to retreat, you're taking the medicine and you're doing Titus process, you're going to get what you need. Brian and Michael.
Yeah, I just have a personal story with that. Because I get asked that question. This is a very common question, and I brought my father to drink ayahuasca a few years ago with me, and my family went through an extreme traumatic thing that happened to my dad's very close family. Very traumatic, extremely. And my father was not in a very good place. He was in a ton of grief. And I thought, my father going to drink ayahuasca, he's going to face the trauma, right? Believe it or not, for 3 ceremonies in a row, he never thought once about the trauma and the reason why he was very scared of going to drink ayahuasca, because he thought he was going to have to deal with that. The medicine brought him healing in a very, very different way that he never thought was possible. So the medicine always knows what you need, because it comes from an intelligence beyond our understanding. So and that may not make sense to you now because you haven't experienced it, but you get what you need, and what we need isn't always what we think is going to come, because there's always different places, the root cause of things. So I just wanted to share that experience, because it's sometimes being scared about something, it might take us in a totally different direction. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think JFK said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. So, you're as scared as you are right now thinking about your fear. So 9 times out of 10, when you reduce the fear about being afraid, the fear itself is much less. So don't give yourself a 2-for-1. Learn to just let go and start to feel what you need to feel.
Hey, and Barbara, if you're on this call, it means you're interested, and it means that you're intriguing about this, and you're probably feeling the call, and that's half the battle. And it's just, yeah. I would have to say, my first time that I drank ayahuasca, I was trembling. Like, I drove 15 hours down to North Carolina with a bunch of people I've never met, and we didn't have any of these calls like this. I had no idea what was happening, and I was so petrified. Big grown, tough guy out of the Marines, completely petrified, and nothing has helped my life more than this medicine.
Okay. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to have us address?
We're very obtainable, everybody. So if you want to get our names and just find us on social media, Hummingbird Church, like we're very there, very touchable and reachable. And we love talking to people about this. So.
All right. Well, if there's no questions, I just want to thank you guys all for joining us. And as Michael stated, don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions at a later date. So thanks, everyone.
Many blessings.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.